It's Monday, January 29th. Welcome to the AI Factor. I'm Noah Wave, your guide on this exciting journey through today's news. In today's news roundup, tensions peak as Texas Governor Greg Abbott deploys the National Guard, challenging federal border policies and igniting a potential clash with the Biden administration. The dispute, centered on the scrapped Remain in Mexico policy, raises constitutional questions about states' rights. Simultaneously, a convoy named God's Army mobilizes a protest at the southern Texas border, adding complexity to the situation. In the Middle East, a drone attack prompts President Biden to vow accountability. Climate activists in France stir debate by hurling soup at the Mona Lisa. Representative Ilhan Omar faces calls for expulsion over controversial comments. Meanwhile, the NFL playoffs set the stage for a thrilling Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers, promising an epic showdown. Are you ready for a deep dive into the AI factor? Tensions are spiking as Texas and the Biden administration face off over border security, with the future of the Texas National Guard caught in the middle. Governor Greg Abbott's controversial deployment of the Guard to restrict federal Border Patrol access has ignited a brewing constitutional storm, threatening to boil over into a direct collision between state and federal authority. At the heart of the dispute lies the Remain in Mexico policy, scrapped by Biden but favored by Abbott. The Supreme Court recently rejected Texas's bid to revive the policy, prompting Abbott to take matters into his own hands. He activated the National Guard, ostensibly to combat human trafficking and drug cartels, but critics see it as a veiled attempt to obstruct federal immigration policy. The White House, wary of escalating tensions, has so far opted for diplomatic pressure. They've expressed strong reservations about the Guard's role and hinted at potential legal action if it impedes federal border operations. The possibility of federalizing the Guard, essentially taking control from Texas, looms large, a move with potentially explosive consequences. The implications of this standoff reach far beyond border security. It raises critical questions about federalism, states' rights, and the limits of executive power. If the White House federalizes the Guard, it sets a precedent for unprecedented intervention in state affairs, drawing fiery rebukes from Republicans and potentially igniting legal challenges. Conversely, if Texas persists in its defiance, it risks accusations of undermining federal authority and triggering a constitutional crisis. It is important to consider Texas's argument that the Biden administration is not fulfilling its responsibility to secure the border, which has led the state to take matters into its own hands. As the drama unfolds, one thing is certain: the stakes are high. The outcome will ripple through the national political landscape, shaping the future of border policy and reshaping the delicate balance of power between states and the federal government. With every passing day, the pressure mounts, pushing both sides closer to a precipice, making a peaceful resolution seem increasingly fragile.
This should be a peaceful movement of the American people, joined by other nations if they want to come. This is the Canadian farmers, truckers. This is the German farmers. This is the French farmers. This is the Dutch farmers. This is a movement well beyond the United States that people are simply tired of the overreach of their federal governments, and we're pushing back. Now is the time.
The situation at the southern border of Texas is rapidly evolving as a large convoy of trucks, organized by concerned citizens calling themselves God's Army, heads to the region. This group aims to bring attention to the border crisis and pressure the government to take action to secure it. Texas State Representative Keith Self has promoted the convoy, which has garnered significant support on social media. The group plans to hold rallies in Texas, California, and Arizona to raise awareness of the issue. It remains unclear what specific actions God's Army will take once they reach the border, but it is expected that they will make their presence known and demand that the government take steps to secure the border. As the situation develops, it is important to stay informed and follow updates on this potentially significant event. The recent drone attack in Jordan, which resulted in the deaths of 3 U.S. service members and the injury of at least 24 others, marks the first time American troops have been killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the start of the Israel-Gaza conflict. President Biden has vowed to hold Iran-backed militant groups responsible for the attack, which occurred at a small U.S. base near the Syrian border. This incident comes after weeks of efforts to prevent the conflict from spreading further throughout the region. The attack has been condemned by U.S. officials, who have called for a strong response to the aggression. The incident has also sparked concern among the international community, with many calling for a de-escalation of tensions in the region. As the situation continues to develop, it is crucial for the U.S. and its allies to remain vigilant and work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The safety and security of U.S. troops in the Middle East must be a top priority, and all necessary measures must be taken to ensure their protection. In a daring act of protest, 2 climate activists recently hurled soup at the iconic Mona Lisa painting in the Louvre Museum in Paris. The activists, who were part of a group called Food Riposte, aimed to draw attention to the need for a sustainable food system and to protest the French government's alleged failure to meet its climate commitments. The incident occurred at a time of unrest among French farmers, who were protesting against various issues, including low wages and demanding better pay, taxes, and regulations. The protesters' actions sparked a mixed reaction from the public, with some supporting their cause and others criticizing their methods. In response to the incident, the Louvre Museum issued a statement condemning the actions of the activists and emphasizing the importance of protecting the museum's priceless works of art. The museum also announced that it would be reviewing its security measures to prevent similar incidents from happening in the future. The Food Riposte group, which advocates for a sustainable food system, has gained attention in recent months for their creative and bold protests. The group argues that the current food system is unsustainable and harmful to the environment, and that urgent action is needed to address the issue. Ilhan Omar, a Democratic representative from Minnesota, has recently been involved in a controversy regarding her controversial statements on representing Somalia in Congress. In a viral video, she stated that she would prioritize the interests of Somalia over the United States, which has sparked outrage among many Americans. In response to this controversy, several calls have been made to expel her from the House of Representatives. Many argue that her statements are a clear indication of her lack of loyalty to the United States and that she is unfit to serve in Congress. However, there are also those who have come to her defense, claiming that her statements were taken out of context and that she is simply trying to represent the interests of her constituents. This controversy is still ongoing, and it remains to be seen what the outcome will be. The NFL playoffs have been a wild ride so far, and this weekend was no exception. The San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs both emerged victorious in their respective conference championship games, setting the stage for a thrilling Super Bowl LVIII. In a stunning upset, the San Francisco 49ers managed to overcome the Detroit Lions with a nail-biting 34-31 win. The Lions put up a valiant fight, but the 49ers' dynamic duo of Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo proved too much to handle. With Purdy's clutch throws and Deebo Samuel's electrifying playmaking, the 49ers secured their spot in the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs locked horns with the Baltimore Ravens in a defensive battle that ended with a 17-10 victory for the Chiefs. Both quarterbacks faced intense pressure, but it was Patrick Mahomes' composure and the Chiefs' opportunistic defense that ultimately made the difference. Now the stage is set for Super Bowl LVIII, where the Kansas City Chiefs will face the San Francisco 49ers in a highly anticipated rematch of Super Bowl LIV. The Chiefs won that contest 31-20, but the 49ers are determined to even the score. This promises to be an epic showdown between two storied franchises, and fans can't wait to see how it all unfolds. So buckle up and get ready for an unforgettable Super Bowl Sunday. As we wrap up this episode of The AI Factor, we invite you to join us again for another captivating journey of the news. If you enjoyed today's exploration, don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to stay updated on future episodes. If you have thoughts, questions, or intriguing stories you'd like us to explore, feel free to reach out to us at podcast@aifactor.news. Remember, we're committed to providing unbiased perspectives. We will never pull you left or right. Our mission is to take you straight to the facts. Stay curious, stay informed, and always keep an eye on the ever-changing landscape of the news. Until next time, this is Noah Wave, signing off.